integral, it's 1/2 times the integral from, now the thing is I've got to find my limits of integration just to get that one section. I know the function is 3 times 1 minus the sine of theta. That's the one that I've chosen. I could choose the other one. I mean, I could choose the plus one, but then I'd have to, I'd pick, one of these. That would be the range I need to find. Okay, so I need to figure out how do I get it to graph from just here to here. The bottom one's 0? Okay, well let's try 0 to where? Where do you want to try? You want to try pi over 2? And hit graph. I better zoom out so I make sure I don't have any other stuff. Bam, there we go. 0 to pi over 2. What do we do from here? Calculator? Yeah. Zero to pi divided by 2. All right, I'm going to hit begin parentheses, 3 parentheses, 1 minus sine theta, parentheses, 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 squared. Got to make sure you're squaring the 3 too, otherwise change it to a 9. And then what do I need to multiply that by? 2. Times 1/2 times 4 is times 2. 6.4115. All right, so there's another area one that might seem harder, but it's not that bad. All right, we'll come back and do one more area one at the end, but let's just take a look at an arc length and a surface area problem. Okay, so this one, this example, this will be find the length of the curve. And these ones are a lot easier because they just say, hey, find the length of the curve and here's your interval. Okay, the area ones are the ones that are a little challenging. So we'll do a length of a curve one quick and we'll do a surface area. They're actually really easy. Okay, so let's find the length of a curve. R equals 1 plus sine of theta from 0 to 2 pi. Okay, so length of the curve, what's our formula? S equals the integral from, okay, what's our alpha and beta? 0 to, they give it to us. There's the interval they want us to find. How long is this curve if you graph it? All from 0 to 2 pi. And then we need to take our the square root of the function squared. Okay. So what's our function squared? 1 plus sine of theta. And then plus its derivative. Okay, and now notice it says f prime of theta. So we don't have to do the dy, dx over d theta, dy over d theta over dx. It's not that. It is simply the derivative of that. What's the derivative of that? Cosine theta squared d theta. So we could work this out by hand if we wanted to, or what could we do? Calculator. If anyone needs a calculator, if you want to use one for now, okay. 0 to, okay, second square root, begin parentheses, there's a bag, 1 plus sine of theta, quantity squared. Oop, I better change that squared. And 8. It's 8. And it's 8. I like that. Okay. Now, area of a surface. Example 4. Find surface area. Okay, surface area, here's your function, here's your interval, here's your axis of rotation. Okay, so our formula. All right. So the formula we're going to use, let's see, we're going about the line theta equals pi over 2, so it's the second one. So our arc length, our surface area is 2 pi times the integral from 0 to pi over 2. They just give us the interval here. F of theta cosine theta. Okay, so my f of theta is a cosine theta times another cosine theta. And then the square root of basically the same thing we had. The only difference between surface area and arc length, okay, the surface area, basically you find the arc length and then you rotate it around. Like you sweep that arc length around so it makes a whole surface area. So you still have the arc length formula in there. So the function squared, so this will be a squared cosine squared theta plus now its derivative. Well, that derivative's easy because a is a number, right? So the derivative would be negative a sine theta which would still make it a squared sine squared of theta, because you're going to square it, it's going to be positive. Okay, so this one, let's see what I can do by hand here. Don't say nothing. What's going to be out front here? A cosine squared theta. See, you have a problem trying to punch this one in your calculator. What's that problem? A. Okay, so what can you factor out of these two? A squared. And what's sine squared plus cosine squared? 1. So you're taking the square root of a squared, right? Which is what? A. So what's your integral really? A squared cosine squared theta d theta. Do you suppose there's a formula in the back for the antiderivative of cosine squared theta? Can't that a squared be just pulled out in front with the 2 pi? Yep. Look up that antiderivative then of cosine squared. Don't you have your table of integrals? You don't carry that with you everywhere? Well, sure you can. Yeah, you can do that now. Okay. Math, integrate 0 to second pi divided by 2 of cosine theta, whoops. It's pi. Everybody. He's taking all the fun out of it. Well, that one's not as beautiful as the last answer. I wonder if that changes to a fraction. No? Okay, point 7853, 7854. That's pi over 4? That's what I thought. Okay, so pi over 4, because that'll make our answer a whole lot prettier. So S is 2, oh no it's not. Isn't it pi squared a squared? Pi squared a squared over 2. That's our surface area. All right. So now we